I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everyone!
Hello!
Welcome back to the Locke and Key After Show. Tonight we're talking about Season 1, Episode 2. We got to dive a little bit in tonight. Yeah. Tonight we're getting into more mysterious characters, new keys, our special segment, and predictions. I'm your moderator, Princess Carroll, and I'm joined to my left by our fantasy expert, Bryant.
Thank you so much. Super excited to be here, whether it's Vampire Diaries, the originals, or anything else fantasy. I love it. So I'm happy to be here talking about Locke and Key.
Fantasy, not horror.
Yes.
We also have our Darby Stanchfield resident fan, Miss Janice.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our show. I'm really excited to get into this episode. Can't wait.
And on the end, we also have our man who's on a journey. Mr.
I am.
I
am on a journey.
Right? Yeah, see, Mr. Loren. He's hoping these keys will unlock some doors in his own journey. So.
Yes, I love how you put that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm thoughtful. All right, guys. So like I said, tonight we are getting into Season 1, Episode 2. I'd love to hear some of your overall thoughts.
I am into the show fully. Not every pilot for a series catches me right off the bat. This one did pretty quickly, and we're starting to learn about new characters, new secrets in the town. We got a new key, and so we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
absolutely. I really liked this episode a lot. Like from yesterday, I wasn't really quite sold, but this episode, I'm like locked in. I will keep saying that every episode. I'm so sorry. Forgive me.
It's okay.
I agree. I do like this episode a lot too. I definitely feel like it picked up faster than the last one did. I felt like we were really waiting last time, but this time it kind of just started off a little bit slow, and then we got to kind of see not only our main characters, but also got introduced to some new characters, which was fun as well. So happy to kind of talk all about that.
Yeah, there was a lot of conflict, and I feel like we really got to delve into who each of our main characters are, and also get introduced to some weird new characters. So let's go ahead and just do a quick recap now that we know a little bit more about our main family, the Locke family. So let's talk about Bodie, the kid who was notoriously left alone for some reason.
I'm legit calling CPS. Like, right. Where is his mother?
Where's Joe Pesci? Right?
Right. Everyone just leaves this kid by himself, and he continues to find keys and keep the show going.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you guys think of Bodie? I actually think he's really cute. I like working with him.
I think Bodie is a really sweet kid. He does not get into, mischievous things, so I think that's why his mom basically trusts him to stay alone at home. I don't think, actually, all of them seem like pretty responsible kids. So yeah, I like Bodie.
Yeah, I agree too. I think that he definitely, it's not mischievous. It's more just kind of like we all mentioned last time, like just curious. Yeah, so he's kind of just exploring. And of course, we had that bait from Echo, which we know about. So that's kind of why he's curious about everything. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really fun. So he's fun. And like you said, he's keeping the show going, finding all those keys. So I'm excited to see like what happened in the end of how he's going to use that next key that we found.
Loren, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, you've all said it pretty well about Bodie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so cute that, and this is just me, I'm an inner child. Mm-hmm. I love seeing kids play with toys and truly get into their imagination. Even when he's out hunting in this episode, he has his little, what are those extended swords called with the different colors? The light up swords?
Yeah.
Is it a lightsaber?
We'll just call it that for this show. But I just love the fact that he has this sense of imagination. And we don't always get to see that with kids. So he's genuinely a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Someone that I kind of feel sorry for in a way is Kensi. And I know that
this episode.
she's super angsty, but she's also like, that's kind of what I went through when I was that age. It's like a middle school to high school.
You were angsty.
Sure.
It's a middle school to high school thing. I don't know. Yeah. After seeing more of her story in this episode, how are you guys feeling?
I definitely want to talk about that too, because I'm so sorry to my girl. I kind of gave her a bad rap last time. She kind of, the angst was getting to me, but definitely I think that, how we explored it more in this episode, we saw more about her relationship with her father and everything, so it's obvious that they were very close. Yeah. So of course she does, regardless, she has room to be the way she is right now. But I think there's just, in some ways I do think that she still has room to kind of address it a little bit better, and still,
absolutely.
I think she needs to lean on her family more, as opposed to kind of just being the angsty teenager that she is, and also lean on friends more. Like, I feel like she's pushing everybody away at school when she should kind of be reaching out and trying to kind of not think about what's been going on in her life, or kind of find a good distraction, a positive distraction. So
Yeah.
She lost her father, as the family did, and they're all dealing with the grief in different ways.
Yes.
But she's trying to find herself at this new school. She made the friend right away. Goes into this, the production, the horror movie production, and kind of says, "I'll do it," but then has a flashback. So she's dealing with a lot, and I'm guessing she's ninth grade. Like,
Yes.
this
Ninth
might
or
be
10th
her
year.
first year in high school anyway. So, she's got a lot to deal with. I work with 8th graders here in LA as a teaching artist. And so, boy, walking onto a junior high campus brings all the memories and all the feels of what it was like. And if you're not super quiet, you're super awkward. And you're very super angsty because your hormones are going
It's
crazy.
a very confusing time.
Yeah.
It's very
Yes.
confusing. So I'm giving her lots of props for dealing with life thus far.
Sure.
Yeah, I extend a lot of grace to her because, to your point, coming out of middle school, going into high school, that can be some of the most insecure times, especially in a young woman's life. So I cut her some slack.
Yes.
know.
Sorry again to my girl.
I don't know, Janice, you don't seem too sold on that story.
I agree with you guys, but like Brian was trying to say, I understand where she's coming from, but at the same time, I feel like she could channel that energy a little bit better. Like this episode, she mentioned that her brother was kind of pulling away from her, and she wasn't okay with that, and I kind of felt for her as well. I was like, okay, I kind of get where she's coming from. At the same time, you choose who you're going to be, and they all went through the same thing, but they're not as salty as she is.
Yes.
So I cut her some slack, but at the same time, be better.
Yeah, it's tough. Grief is such a personal experience. So, but I'm glad you brought up Tyler. So let's go ahead and get into him a little bit more. We saw him make a few crucial decisions, but we also got to see his character as well.
Yes.
So
I like him.
You like him?
I really do. I feel like he's trying to be Kinsey's, rock. At the same time, he also wants to make friends and wants to enjoy his high school experience. And I don't think Kinsey is a fan of that for some reason. Like, she wants them to sit down and just be sad about their dad. Like, we have to move on at some point,
Yes.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree with that, but I also think what he's kind of going through is a little bit different. Like, he is in that struggle of, like, trying to find friends, like you said, but also, like, in the popularity. He's into sports, so he's kind of more popular. So he's kind of trying to find that balance of, like, being popular, meeting new people, making friends, but also trying to be there for his sister, who's kind of the exact opposite, of really, really angsty and not really open to meeting people. So
Different crowds.
yes,
Different crowds.
yes, for sure, different crowds. So that's kind of where his crossroads is like dealing with all those things and having to be able to try and be there for his sister, but also, like you said, live a high school life and kind of move on. So
Interesting.
I'm curious about the insight from the flashback scene when he is with his father who was I guess he was a guidance counselor, assuming at the old school. So that scene, I'm still trying to figure out what it reveals.
I assumed that this might be a prediction, but I assumed that it's somehow related to the Sam situation. I wonder if his father was trying to get him to befriend Sam, or it could have also been he could have been trying to get him to befriend his sister, because use your social ranking, use your platform.
exactly.
I don't know. I actually have kind of a different perspective on Tyler. I see him as torn between two worlds, like you said, and I think that he could be there a little bit more for his siblings.
Sure.
He didn't
Absolutely.
stand up for the fact that his brother is home alone by himself. He just let them lead him on where he needs to go, instead of the child that is home alone getting into, a ruckus.
Bear traps, by the way.
Echo comes to visit him, and he's yet again all alone.
There are a lot of things that we're seeing in 2 episodes where
Yeah.
our reactions in real life would be completely different. More so, Bryant, when we're watching. I always listen for Brian's kind of
really
moment
jump.
in the episode. But yeah, it's so fascinating how they see the key in the back of Bodie's head, and they're just like, hey, what's going on, Bode? Like, they're barely freaked out about it.
Yeah.
Like,
it
okay.
wasn't quite explained if they saw the key, though.
Yeah,
Like, it was kind of dark. Like, when
Yeah.
they panned around behind him, we couldn't really tell if they saw
Yeah.
it or
Sure.
what was going on.
I don't know, but I guess I don't know. I just bring it back to Tyler. I guess we'll see more of who he is coming through. I mean, we did see his exchange with his student who was disabled, and he chose to express his self by keying his classmate's car.
Yes.
But at the same time, Tyler held it down and didn't rat him out. So it'll be interesting to see if they become friends and he decides to leave. That's what I was thinking was being said.
I want to add to that too. Just what another struggle he's going through is like being a good person, but also like trying to live up to that like typical high school popular jock who is a womanizer and everything like that, So we saw that where he kind of like told his friends like, hey, yeah, it was great, and then he went back to the girl and said, I'm sorry that didn't really happen, and of course she kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt, but she didn't. So I think that's another internal struggle he's going with, is trying to balance like being a really good person but showing everyone that he's too cool for it,
That's a really, really interesting perspective, and I'm really excited to see them explore that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, in a similar way, I think Kinsey might be trying to decide who she is too.
Yes.
So it's just the joys of being a teenager.
For sure.
But with that being said, Bryant, do you have a message for our fans out there?
I do. So before we move on to our next topic, I just want to talk about thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. For us to continue to grow, we need your help. So if you're on YouTube right now, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you're on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. But all of that, whatever platform you're on, leave us a comment because we want you to be in the conversation. So being a part of AfterBuzz has meant so much to me as well as everybody here. So we appreciate you supporting us. Don't forget to tell your friends all about us, and make sure you continue to enjoy our shows.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so we saw plenty of interactions between our main kids and their classmates, some naughty, some not so naughty. But we did get introduced to a new adult. We have Ellie, and we also have her adopted son, which I love. It's cool that they brought that to the forefront.
Yes.
What did you guys think of Ellie? She seems a little mysterious.
Yes, definitely. I think that she is definitely going to be a interesting character, or someone that's kind of throw a wrench into everything. Of course, we had that interaction with her and Nina where she basically brings up something that is supposedly traumatic or tragic, but it kind of is still being discovered or explored. So I kind of want to see what she's going to do or how she's going to impact definitely Nina's storyline.
I'm curious about her, and also the secret. We're starting to see the town has a secret, or at least we know that she's got a secret, and also Uncle Duncan has a secret, and so we're starting to see that a little bit. Nobody really wants to talk.
Everyone's very mysterious.
Yeah, and that sometimes is, I want to know what's going on. Don't not say anything, but in some way I see that they're spreading out this storyline.
Sure. It's all gonna come together
slowly.
Yes.
I have a thing with Mom Nina. I can't wrap my head around who she is as a mom and just a character on this show.
Yes.
She has her kids. I know that she's going through her own grief, but she's definitely not a helicopter mom. She's not, she's letting the kids do what they need to do. But the part of her not remembering anything, I'm not buying it. When I see her speak, I'm not buying it, so I don't know what's going on there.
Wait, what didn't you remember? Oh yeah, from
that she doesn't remember anything that happened with the
mirror.
With the mirror.
Do you think, because that was something that Bodie brought up, and I actually thought about this when we watched the first episode, do you think it has something to do with being an adult?
Oh, like going into the Lion Witch in the wardrobe. Because that's right, Bodie brought that up.
Yeah, when Bodie brought that up, I kind of realized that, in the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, there were 3 kids, and one was a boy, and 2 were boys?
2 were boys.
Yeah.
And also in this show...
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I felt like
I never watched
maybe
that.
they got some
clip,
inspiration from that, so...
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that. Bryant, what do you think about Nina?
I said it again several times. I'm calling CPS, but literally,
we may need to do that.
Yeah,
it's not like she has a job that she has.
Yes,
to, leave
exactly.
This kid
She paints, right?
Yeah,
so she's a painter, or she's doing work on the house right now. So like when she went to the hardware store last time, and she's like, "I'm going to the hardware store. You need anything?" And then she's just like, "You need anything?" The kid is like 10, and you're leaving him at home. Oh my gosh! But I think I don't want to give her the benefit of the doubt because even as a mother, you have to keep it together.
Right.
But like she did go through something traumatic as well. But at that same token, your child should be your priority, and leaving him at the house with bear traps is not a priority. So
Yeah.
All right, I've been left in the house before.
With a bear trap.
Not with bear traps, but my older brother in a football.
How old
So-
were you?
Oh.
How old was I?
Yeah.
I don't know, like 36. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, he was 4.5 years older, so I was in elementary school. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
junior high school. So, there were antics, but there were a few times when I was left alone. But I had television. How is it in this town that the kid has no television,
No TV.
no phone?
He just moved in, so
yeah,
He did.
he
He has
texted
an
her from the
iPad.
iPad. Yeah.
Oh, he does? Oh,
He
that's
can
right.
He
stream.
has an iPad.
That was her motherly duty. She said, "Text me on the iPad if you need anything."
Yeah,
I'm like,
yes.
"Text me on the iPad." Oh my
I can't
god.
deal. I can't deal, y'all.
Not even playing Fortnite, which for a kid that age is really
he
weird.
didn't mention Fortnite.
Oh,
He
that's
did.
right,
He
he
did.
did. Okay, all right. So then never mind.
Huge Fortnite fan here.
Right.
But Bodie's out there enjoying and just living in his imagination, enjoying his toys. Going back to my point earlier, I'm a fan of Bodie.
Yes.
Maybe not his mom and family, not so much. Still trying to figure out those kinks. But I did want to say, because we talked in the trailer earlier, and we were saying, we were questioning why do we think the family moved back?
Yes.
So do you think that it was really motivated by the mom and her? Like, do you think that Rendell was perhaps hiding something and she really wanted to get to the truth and it's really a selfish move? Or what do you guys think, really quickly?
Yeah, I agree. Like, we definitely have some questions about why they moved back. Because literally, I feel like even her, she alluded to the fact she's like, I know it's hard, but we're kind of getting through it. But I wonder why they moved back. Why would they uproot their life and leave when they just went through something traumatic? So hopefully that we get those kind of answers soon. But
Yeah.
I do agree that it's kind of strange that they would just pick up and leave and move to somewhere new, and not really knowing anything else about it.
I was a little curious. Did they tell us how their grandfather died? The guy who owned the key house?
No, and it seems like Rendell didn't really talk about his family much either, based on a flashback. So who knows? Maybe there's some weird family history that he doesn't want to talk about.
Yeah,
don't
but I do
know.
agree with you that I think she could. We always talk about that she knows a lot more than she's letting on. So she might have moved back to kind of get those answers that Randall never gave her, especially now that she's uncovering everything, and we feel like she's prodding for it. Like she's kind of wanting to talk to the teacher. She's talking to Ellie. So I feel like she's kind of like poking around and trying to find those answers that she was
think
maybe
so,
looking
too.
for.
That's interesting because I don't see that, but I totally am on board with what you're saying. I don't necessarily see in that twinkle in her eye of she knows something is up, at least when she moves in. I know now that with having spoken with the 11th grade English teacher, she's like, oh, something you knew her husband, Rendell. But before that, I didn't have any idea that she was coming back more than just finding kind of a familiarity back at the family home.
Sure, yes.
But has she ever been there before?
I don't know.
Yeah,
It doesn't
it
really
doesn't sound
seem
like
like
she
it.
does.
It doesn't
Yeah.
seem like it. But you know who else? So more sketchy adults. Uncle Duncan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not do we buy him not remembering his brother going through this traumatic
no.
experience?
Not
No.
at all.
Do we buy that this experience happened? Part of me questions if if Ellie was telling the truth.
Yes.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, because of course the English teacher just said there was something tragic happened, but
Right.
that could be anything.
It could have been a murder. It could have been so many different things. I mean, I just
Yes.
took it there.
Yes.
But-
maybe Ellie killed Lucas. We didn't. Let's.
Nope.
Oh
Nope.
God.
Wait.
I went all the way
I went
out
all
there.
the way just hit into
Is that like a prediction for the end of the season? Wow.
It's okay. Well, I guess time will tell, but so we did discover a new key in this episode, which will
We sure
eventually
did.
tie into our special segment. But I just wanted to talk about that really quickly. What do you guys think about this new key? I feel like we just got exposed to it. And if you want to Google it, you can look up some of the keys. But it seems like they might deviate a little bit from what it was in the
Exactly.
comic. So what do you guys think about this key and what it does?
I definitely want to know because we were left on quite a cliffhanger at the end.
Yeah.
So kind of just all we saw was Bodie put it in his neck and then jump into that little crate. So I kind of want to know what it actually is doing. I know it's definitely like an out-of-body experience, so that seems interesting. But we'll see.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
kind of wondering, how did Bodie know to open that chest? Like, was the chest already there, or did it appear after he keyed the thing back on his head? Like, it was very confusing to me. I think we're gonna get answers on that next episode, though.
He's intuitive.
Yeah. What I think, because what's fun for me is I actually have a list of the keys that I printed out from the comic series. So what's fun for me is trying to guess which key I think it is. So I'm going to make a guess that it's the head key, but again, it might not necessarily do the same thing on the show than it does from the comic book. But what I noticed was the other Bodie opening up a chest, and I'd asked you, did he open it like he knew what was inside? And then we hear the sound of what sounded like an arcade or
like a carnival.
Like a carnival.
Yeah.
So it made me wonder: is he going back to a flashback of a time he was at the carnival with his family, with his father? That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out in episode 3, but that covers episode 2. Let's go ahead and move into that special segment.
Yes, guys. We're going to be talking about the key we discovered this episode, which we don't really quite know what it does yet.
There it
It also kind of sounds like a roller coaster.
We're just setting the mood for us, guys. So we're talking about this earlier on, and we think maybe the key might have to do with a memory that Bodie had in the past. And so for our segment today, we're going to be talking about what our earliest memory is. And basically. So this is our segment called Locked In. I don't know if I said that already, but if you guys could go back, like, what is the earliest memory you can think of as a kid growing up?
I have a fun one. So as a kid, so I'm originally from Guam, but I lived here in San Diego for about a year when I was in kindergarten. So one of my fondest memories is going to a pumpkin patch in October, because we don't have pumpkins on Guam. We don't even have fall.
That's a really fun memory.
Yeah, so it's very fun. I went to my first pumpkin patch, hung out with my friends, so that was fun.
Yeah. What about you?
My earliest memory. So when I was really, really little, my parents lived with my grandma, and I obviously lived with them because, Anyway, I remember waking up really early in the morning before my parents woke up, and I think they had fallen asleep with the TV on. And I just remember looking at the TV. I can't remember what was on it. I used to, but not anymore. But also looking out at the window at the sunrise and just beholding the glory of the sunrise. It's really cool. I had to have been, they lived in her house when I was like 2, so I have to have been really, really young. But yeah, that
just took me there. I'm just like, I can see the sunlight.
Yeah, I think that's my earliest memory.
Oh.
Wow.
What about you, Loren?
I had surgery on my eyes when I was a year or 2 years old. Oh, it's okay, thank you. But I have like 4 distinct little snippets, either a still image or like an Instagram video, like a short little video of distinctly remembering being in a crib. And I remember being in the crib as they were wheeling me outside the operating room. It's the weirdest
Were you in
thing.
pain? Or?
No, because this was before. There was a shot of me talking it like it's a movie or an Instagram story. There's me walking into the hospital. There's another one where it's the middle of the night, looking up out of my crib at the closed curtains on the window in the middle of the night. Wow. I remember being in the crib just outside the operating room, noticing a bathroom door, and I feel like I remember crying out, "Where's my mom?" But if I was a year old, I wouldn't have been able to speak that, but I said it. So it makes me wonder if maybe we have the power of critical thinking
very early.
Very early on. So I always think that's fascinating that I have that memory.
That's
or maybe
really
it was
cool.
a false memory.
It was not a false memory.
I'm very pessimistic. Because my memory, honestly, I feel like someone told me and I was like, oh yeah, I remember, but like, I don't think it's real. But mine was like with me and my first dog. We had like our second dog, because our first dog died. But it was me and my second dog like on our veranda outside our house. And I was just playing with him, and that's all I remember. But I don't know if it's real though. Like,
That's a
I
happy
can't really.
memory.
Yeah, I was like really, maybe like 2. I don't remember.
Somebody's implanting memories into you.
No,
it's like
no.
a realistic memory to
I took a
have.
psychology class that said false memories are real, and you would believe that it actually happened, but like it's probably just no.
like Shazam,
Yeah.
the movie.
Right.
I believe it was real. But anyway, that's a conspiracy. We're not going to get into it. So let's go ahead and move into predictions. This episode ended on a cliffhanger, but an exciting one. So what do you guys think is going to happen?
I'll just go really quick because I already might have thrown out a crazy prediction
Go
there
ahead.
with Ellie. But my biggest prediction, I think that Ellie is going to be a huge character or like play a huge role in the series, especially with that whole little. We don't know if that's the true story or not, but I definitely think she's going to be a big character, especially affecting Nina's storyline. So let's see what's going to happen next episode and the coming episodes.
Okay.
For me, I think the girl from the well. Do we know her name yet?
Echo.
I think Echo is probably working for someone else, like a bad guy. I hate to say it, we're feminists here, but like, there's always a guy behind. But I think she's working for someone, which is why I think she's out here trying to find all these keys, maybe to appease him or like to bargain something, to bargain her freedom.
Oh, I love that.
that's
That's Vampire Diaries vibes. Yes.
Ooh. And I kind of mentioned it earlier. I think that Bodie's opened up a memory, maybe a happy memory. And his Tyler and Kinsey will go inside with him. They'll end up at a carnival. Carnivals are always fun and mysterious and scary when they're in storylines. And maybe they might go into a room full of mirrors, and then we'll have some kind of meta mirror thing going on.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm going to stick by what I said last time. I don't trust Nina. I think, I mean, it's not that I don't trust her.
What do you have against her?
Besides the fact that she leaves Bodie alone.
Yeah.
I just think that there's more that she's not revealing, as is the rest of the town. But for her, I really do think that she knows more than she lets on. So we'll find out. But
Sooner or later.
I know, right? But with that being said, that is the end of tonight's episode, guys.
So soon.
I know. Guys, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Loren Kling, LorenKling. Also on Tuesday nights here at AfterBuzz with Schitt's Creek after show.
And you guys can find me on Instagram as well at Nyam Janice, NYAMJANICE. And feel free to tweet me or send me a message on Instagram about the show. I'm always happy to talk about Locke and Key. So
You can find me at the Bryant Santos on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok.
And you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at PrincessCTV. See you next time, guys.
See you next time. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.